Hey, so, yeah, I know, not playing leagues. What's wrong with me? No, I killed the mole 150 times, give or take, this morning. Killed Armadillo till I got full Armadillo. Then I took on some of the wilderness bosses for a little bit and decided that it is far too nice of a day to waste it away all day. So I'm taking a much shorter hike today. I'm actually just on the trail that's fairly close to my house. It's the one I don't really like taking for several reasons. One, I've been here a million times. Two, it's close to where the thugs in training are at, so I try not to come down here, especially without my knife. But like I said, I don't really know if I would be capable of using it anyway. I prefer the idea of a fair hand-to-hand combat situation, but unfortunately, much like life, 6 against 1 is far from fair. But anyways, I wanted to talk about something I said in the last episode. I wanted to kind of clear something up. You're probably, if you watched it and you actually listen to my words and pay attention to what I say, you're probably wondering why I don't leave or confront her. Well, to address the first point, you can check any number of the episodes where I rant about how leaving is almost impossible. And for your second point is a little more complex. So, if I were to confront her, and I'm right about the whole puppet scenario, one of two things would be the outcome. I would be grilling an old lady about something she knows nothing about, or the metaphorical puppet master will just make her lie to me. And that's the end result of that. My second scenario, where it is her causing the problems, and I confront her about it, knowing my very slim margin of being able to leave, she would just lie right to my face. So that's why I don't bother. I've had a few heated discussions with her, but it all ends the same. She's basically, oh, it's my house, and yada yada yada, I pay for it, you live here, yada yada yada, and you can just leave, yada yada yada. And I'm like, that isn't helping anybody, because if I could have left, I would have been gone a long time ago. And lying to my face, or covering up the facts, just irritates me more. So it's really like a double-edged sword. Expelling a bit of my anger and confronting her makes me feel a little better for a short amount of time, but knowing she's basically oblivious or lying straight to my face brings that anger back very, very quickly. So I learned to just do things like this to get my thoughts out there. But anyways, that's all I want to talk about last episode. Now, I want to talk about something I learned recently. As I said several times, I listen to a large amount of podcasts, and usually I write them off as unreasonable circumstance or complete fiction. But I heard a story I liked. Not one that really pertains to me in any way, but I heard something I liked about a ritual, so to speak. So, I'll give you the facts first. Looks like somebody was thinking about building a fire. I'll give you the facts first, alright? So, from my understanding, it's It's a ritual from medieval times where, and it's called Saxon Knaves, I think it's called. Sax is a word that Saxons got their name from, and a sack itself is a type of knife. I might not be pronouncing it completely accurately. I think it's sax, like S-A-X, but I think it's S-A-W-K-S or something, but I don't know, don't quote me. And the idea behind the ritual is you get a group of people together that don't really have ties to each other, and they all put an indicator or a name in a bag of a person that wronged them, and then each person draws a name, and they have to do something bad to that person, depending on who they get. Unless they get their own person, then they redraw. Once the act is complete, you tie a stick or a knife or whatever to the item, the indicator, whether it be the name or an object, and you place it back in the bag for the person to see that the deed is done. When this ritual is in progress or completed, I'm not completely sure, it's supposed to be like I don't want to say it summons a demon, but its origins are from a demon, like a trickster demon that pretty much drives the entire town mad, and everybody starts either killing over or killing each other. Now, how I learned about it initially, it was called Sack of Knives, like S-A-C-K of knives, K-N-I-V-E-S. Yeah, spelling it out, baby. And Sack of Knives, and what it was supposed to be was a bunch of people did like pretty much harmless pranks to people that have wronged people in their, circle that have, done this. And I thought this was amazingly intriguing. Now, I'm not superstitious, so I would totally do it. But it's, the way the story played out was it went from somebody basically keying somebody's car to another guy running somebody off the road. Now, in my head, I prefer things to be lighter and more fun, and I would say, the rules would be a little bit more strict, like nothing that could, destroy somebody's life or cause them bodily harm. Keying a car, that's cosmetic. That's somebody letting somebody know that they've done something really, really wrong. Running somebody off the road is a bit over the top. So, that's kind of where I would compare it. Spreading a horrible rumor about somebody or stabbing them in the neck. There's a big difference. One's going to convey the message that somebody is not happy with an act that they performed, and the other one is just a brutal act of hostility. And my initial understanding of the game, before I found out more about it, was that that's pretty cool. There's a lot of people that go unpunished for things that they have done to others, and that would be a good way of seeking revenge without really, causing severe bodily harm or legal repercussions. Don't get me wrong, and I'm sure if you got caught keying somebody's car, there'd be legal repercussions, but in my mind, that's not really all that bad in consideration. I think we'll turn around here. Yeah, it's good enough. But I just thought this was super intriguing. I like I said, thousands, hundreds of thousands of stories. Like, I've been pumping my brain full of all kinds of information, from serial killers to stalkers to, Bloody Mary rituals. And this one kind of really stuck out to me because I was like, that's really, really clever. It's just something that can get out of hand too easily. Like, I've actually heard about this one time before, but it wasn't given a name. There were three or four working men, and these 3 or 4 working men somehow crossed paths with each other and were drinking at a bar. And these 3 or 4 working men were talking about how horrible their bosses are, how their, ruthless, profit-seeking escapades are ruining the lives of the workers. And they decided that together, man X would physically harm man Y's boss, and man Y would physically harm man Z's boss, and man Z would physically harm man X's boss. And then, surprisingly, well, not surprisingly because it's a story, but surprisingly, if it was real life, and it very well may have been, it could have been based off a true story. I think everything's somewhat based off a true story, because, not just imagination can only get you so far. So, instead of stopping it there and just harming them, they ended up killing everybody, and then they went on a basically murder spree of anybody rich and powerful that, is causing harm to people's lives. And I didn't realize it at the time, but without the sack and the indicators, they basically developed the same pact that, so no ties could be brought back to them. They, exacted revenge on the people that were destroying countless lives from their greed. And when I heard it, initially, beating somebody up for being a complete dickbag isn't completely outside of my realm of morals. I'm a firm believer of not playing God, so I wouldn't go as far as killing anybody ever. But when it hit me that was basically what they were doing, the whole sack of knives, sacks and knaves. Well, I knew what a sax was, because I was always into the idea of, forging my own knives and stuff at some point in my life. With my facilities and items at hand, that's probably not a dream that I will ever really get a chance at doing. I won't say I'd never get a chance to do it. I just never get a chance to actually be good at it. So, I might be able to do it sometime, but actually crafting a product that would be worthy of using probably takes a little more time than I would ever have to actually forge something. And the word knave, I was always under the impression that it kind of meant like an underling or like the village idiot, I guess. It turns out it's a word for like a demon of sorts, which surprised me because as I kind of feel that I have a lot of useless knowledge, that was something that I was wrong about. So, or the video told me I was wrong about. And it just, I don't know. The whole idea just got me thinking. Now, everybody, before you start calling the cops and, trying to get some sort of helpline before we go on a murder spree, no worries. I don't have any friends. So it's not going to be a one-man party isn't my thing. So you ain't got to worry about that. I just, I thought it was something worth talking about while I was out today. And that's just what I did. So yeah. I think I'm going to end this here. It's going to be a bit of a shorter one, but like I said, I just wanted to get a little bit of air, enjoy a little bit of the sunlight, and get out and do something for a couple of minutes. I was going to go to the further away trail, but I'm just not feeling it. Like, the big problem is walking here takes 5 minutes. Walking to the other trail takes 20, and it's all uphill. And I just can't bring myself to do it. Like, I took a really long hike a few days ago. As much as I don't want to turn into a lazy OSRS blob, I can't get the motivation to take ridiculous hikes every time I go out. So I figured I'd settle for a smaller one today. Alright, that's that. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you next time.